You need to hear this first. Even if it feels uncomfortable, divine calling does not begin with applause. It begins with loneliness. It begins with misunderstanding. It begins with isolation that makes you question whether you heard God correctly. This is not because you are doing something wrong, but because spiritual authority is never handed to crowds. It is forged in quiet places where only you and God remain. There are nights when you scroll through your phone and realize no one truly understands what you carry. You try to explain your vision, your convictions, your refusal to compromise, but people look at you like you're strange, intense, or disconnected from reality. Family members may love you, yet still not see you. Friends may tolerate you, but no longer walk at your pace. That ache you feel is not weakness. It is evidence of separation. Here is the hard truth: when God increases your authority, He often decreases your circle, not because others are evil, but because not everyone can breathe at the altitude you're being called to. Loneliness is not punishment, it is preparation. Misunderstanding is not rejection, it is refinement. You have felt it in practical ways. At work, you refuse to cut corners, even when it costs you promotion or popularity. You sense you're meant for leadership, yet you're overlooked, sidelined, or quietly resisted. In finances, you are disciplined when others are reckless, generous when others hoard, obedient when logic says panic. In your family, you are the one who breaks cycles, yet you're the one labeled different, too serious, or too spiritual. That hurts. God knows it hurts. But listen carefully: authority grows in isolation because clarity grows there. When the noise fades, discernment sharpens. When validation disappears, obedience strengthens. When people step back, heaven steps closer. You were never meant to be explained at this stage, only positioned. This is why God allows seasons where texts go unanswered, invitations dry up, and familiar support systems quietly fall away. It exposes who you depend on. It reveals whether your identity is rooted in calling or comfort. And it trains you to stand without leaning on human approval. There is a reason this feels heavy right now. Increased authority always arrives before visible elevation, before God entrusts you with influence over others. He ensures you can stand alone without collapsing. Because if applause is what sustains you, silence will destroy you. Let me ask you something directly: when no one claps, will you still obey? Think about a real moment from your life. Maybe you're sitting alone in your car after work, gripping the steering wheel, wondering why doing the right thing feels so costly. Or you're at the dinner table, surrounded by people, yet feeling completely unseen. Or you're awake late at night, praying quietly so no one hears, because explaining your burden feels exhausting. This is where authority is born. Hope does not disappear in this place, it changes form. Hope becomes quieter, sturdier, less emotional, more rooted. It looks like waking up and choosing integrity again. It looks like praying even when feelings are numb. It looks like trusting that unseen growth is still growth. The truth is, heaven is not silent right now. You are being trained to hear differently. God is teaching you how to receive affirmation from His presence rather than people's praise. And once that shift happens, your authority becomes unshakable. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms. Chapter 27, verse 10. Though my father and mother forsake me, the Lord will receive me. That verse is not poetic exaggeration. It is a spiritual principle. Even when the closest voices fall quiet, God draws nearer. Even when earthly support weakens, divine backing intensifies. So don't rush this season. Don't numb it. Don't abandon it. This loneliness will not last forever, but what it produces will. Before we go further, If this message resonates, take a moment to share it with someone who feels isolated in their calling, and subscribe so you stay connected to what's coming next. Then, in the comments, answer this honestly for yourself and before God. Are you willing to walk alone now so you can lead others later? What feels like abandonment today is alignment, because God is removing every voice that would dilute your obedience and delay the authority forming within you. Stay present in this season, because soon your voice will carry weight, your prayers will shift rooms, and obedience will open doors no can close. You remember the story, but today you are not hearing it as history, you are hearing it as a mirror. Joseph did not begin in a palace. He began in favor, then fell suddenly into a pit dug by betrayal. Brothers who shared his blood could not tolerate the weight of what rested on his life. They stripped him, silenced him, and sold him. Not because he was weak, but because the calling on him was heavy. Joseph's pit was not random. It was the first pressure test of authority. You know this pattern in your own life. One season you are confident, full of vision, sensing God's hand clearly. The next season, you feel dropped. A job you thought was secure collapses. A relationship you trusted turns cold. People you helped suddenly disappear. Like Joseph, you did not fall because of disobedience. You fell because promotion always passes through pressure. From the pit, Joseph was carried to Potiphar's house. On the surface, it looked like improvement structure, stability, responsibility. But beneath it was still confinement. He served faithfully, worked with excellence, carried integrity. And just when it seemed like things were turning around, accusation struck. A lie, a false narrative, no defense, no explanation. Prison replaced progress. This is where many people break, because prison seasons are harder than pit seasons. In the pit, you know something is wrong. In prison, you do everything right and still suffer. You show up early, you stay honest, you give your best. Yet recognition does not come. Freedom delays. You pray, but doors remain shut. Doors. You've lived this. Maybe in your career you were competent, loyal, hardworking, yet overlooked while others advanced through politics or compromise. Maybe in your finances you were disciplined and generous, yet unexpected expenses kept you boxed in. Maybe in family you tried to be the peacemaker, the responsible one, the cycle breaker, yet you became the scapegoat. Joseph's prison was not proof God forgot him. It was proof God was training him. Authority is not built by dreams alone. It is built by restraint, by patience, by character forged under injustice. In prison, Joseph learned how to manage people, interpret pressure, and steward influence without ego. He learned how to wait without bitterness, how to serve without spotlight. That is what is happening to you. This season is teaching you how to carry weight without collapsing, how to hold silence without resentment, how to trust God's timing when logic screams urgency. Heaven is watching how you handle delay, because delay exposes motive. Here is a daily life picture you recognize you are doing more than your job description, yet your name is never mentioned. You are the one solving problems quietly while others take credit. You go home tired, wondering if integrity is even worth it anymore. That moment right there is a prison moment, and God is closer than you think. Joseph did not know that every closed door was aligning him with the exact timing of Pharaoh's dream. Had he been released earlier, he would have missed the moment his gift was needed most. Had he been promoted sooner, his authority would not have been trusted. Timing is not punishment. Timing is precision. There is hope forming here, even if you can't see it yet. Hope looks like unseen skills developing. It looks like emotional maturity deepening. It looks like discernment sharpening when your season shifts. You will notice something: you are no longer desperate to prove yourself. You are ready to lead. Ask yourself this honestly: are you trying to escape the season that is equipping you? The story of Joseph reminds you that God does not waste suffering. Not the pit, not the prison, not the silence. Everything is preparation for stewardship. Everything is shaping your ability to rule without corruption. We find this truth recorded in the book of Genesis, chapter 39, verse 21. But the Lord was with Joseph and showed him steadfast love and gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. Notice where God's presence was not just in the dream, not just in the palace, but in the prison. Favor did not remove Joseph from confinement immediately. It sustained him inside it until the right door opened. That is your assurance. God's presence is not proven by escape, but by endurance with purpose. You are not buried, you are planted. And when the time comes, what rises will be able to feed nations, not just survive seasons. There is a discipline God often introduces when spiritual authority increases and it feels counterintuitive in a loud world. It is the discipline of slow speech, not silence out of fear, not withdrawal out of exhaustion, but intentional restraint rooted in wisdom. When authority rises, words become heavier, and what once passed as harmless expression now carries consequence. You are living in a time where everyone reacts instantly. Messages are sent without reflection. Opinions are voiced without prayer. Emotions are released without discernment. But you are being trained differently. Heaven is teaching you that speed may feel powerful, but restraint is what actually governs. Slow speech is not about speaking less because you have nothing to say. It is about speaking later because you have learned the weight of timing. In everyday life, this shows up more often than you realize. At work, you notice a mistake your supervisor makes. You could correct it publicly and look smart, or wait, gather clarity, and address it privately with honor. In family conversations, someone presses your triggers. Old you would defend, explain, react. But now you pause, you feel the heat rise, and instead of releasing words that cannot be retrieved, you breathe and choose restraint. This is not weakness, this is authority learning its boundaries. Slow speech protects you from unnecessary battles. It keeps you from exposing plans before they mature. It guards your spirit from regret. Most importantly, it creates space for God to speak before you do. Many people think spiritual maturity is about knowing the right words. In reality, it is knowing when not to speak. Authority does not rush to be understood. It trusts that clarity will arrive when timing aligns. Here is a concrete practice you can begin immediately. Create a pause rule. Before responding to anything emotionally charged, an email, a text, a confrontation, wait. Not hours necessarily. Sometimes seconds are enough. Ask one internal question: is this response necessary? Or is it just immediate? That single pause can prevent weeks of damage. Another daily life example: finances. Someone questions your choices. They don't see your long-term vision, only short-term restraint. You feel misunderstood and tempted to justify yourself. But slow speech teaches you to let results speak later. You don't owe everyone an explanation while God is still building the outcome. Slow speech also trains humility. When you speak less, you listen more. And when you listen more, discernment sharpens. You start noticing patterns: who speaks from insecurity, who speaks from wisdom, who speaks from fear. You stop absorbing every opinion because you are no longer reacting to every voice. There is hope in this discipline, even if it feels restrictive at first. Hope looks like fewer regrets. It looks like peace after conversations that once left you drained. It looks like authority that does not need volume to be felt. Over time, people begin to lean in when you speak because you do not waste words. Let me ask you directly, how many situations escalated simply because you spoke too quickly? This discipline does not mean you never speak truth. It means you speak truth with timing. Jesus himself did not answer every accusation. He did not clarify every misunderstanding. He did not correct every false assumption. Silence, at times, was his strongest statement. In your daily routine, practice this. Choose one conversation per day where you intentionally listen more than you speak. Notice the shift. Notice how control loosens its grip. Notice how clarity arrives without force. This is especially important as your influence grows. The higher your authority, the more your words shape atmospheres. A sentence spoken too early can close doors. A word withheld at the right time can preserve destiny. The ancient words recorded in the book of Proverbs, chapter 17, verse 27, remind us whoever restrains his words has knowledge, and he who has a cool spirit is a man of understanding. That verse is not about personality, it is about mastery. Self-mastery precedes leadership over others. God is not muting you, He is tuning you. Before moving forward, I want you to anchor this discipline with a simple action. In the comments, write a phrase of fewer than 4 words. I choose restraint. This is not a ritual, it is a declaration. By writing it, you are reminding yourself that authority begins with self-control, and that your words serve purpose, not impulse. Slow speech will not make you invisible. It will make you undeniable when the moment is right. Something has shifted, even if you cannot yet explain it in words. You sense it when you walk into familiar rooms and realize you no longer fit the same way. Conversations feel thinner. Old habits feel heavier. What once satisfied you now feels incomplete. This is not confusion, it is recalibration. When spiritual authority increases, God adjusts your inner compass before He changes your outer landscape. There is a quiet tension in this phase. You are still present, still functioning, still fulfilling responsibilities, but inwardly. You know you are being repositioned. It feels like standing at a shoreline just before dawn. The old night is still behind you, the new day not fully visible. Yet something in the air tells you change is inevitable. You don't rush the sun. You wait, because waiting itself has become sacred. In daily life, this shows up in subtle but undeniable ways. At work, tasks you once tolerated now drain you, not because you are ungrateful, but because your spirit craves meaning, not motion. You start noticing how much time is spent maintaining appearances rather than building substance. In finances, your relationship with money shifts. You become less impressed by quick gains and more committed to steady stewardship. You think less about consumption and more about impact. In relationships, you feel a gentle ache when conversations stay surface level too long. You still love people, but you no longer want to live shallow. This stage can feel lonely because discernment quietly redraws boundaries. You don't announce them. You simply stop crossing lines that once exhausted you. You decline invitations without drama. You leave rooms earlier than before. You protect your mornings and you guard your evenings. These choices seem small, but together they form a life that can carry authority without burning out. Here is a very real situation you may recognize. You are part of a group, co-workers, friends, even family where negativity has become normal. Complaints pass as humor. Criticism passes as bonding. One day, you notice the cost. Your spirit feels heavy afterward. So next time, you listen politely, contribute less, and eventually excuse yourself. No lecture, no defense, just a quiet exit. That moment is not social awkwardness. It is leadership learning when to disengage. Hope appears here not as excitement, but as alignment. Alignment feels calm. It feels clean. It feels like breathing deeper without realizing how shallow your breath had become. You begin to trust that peace is not boredom, it is confirmation. Let me ask you directly, are you brave enough to choose what nourishes you, even if fewer people understand it? Spiritual authority matures when you learn the difference between being needed and being called. Being needed flatters the ego. Being called demands obedience. God is teaching you to recognize invitations that come from heaven, not pressure that comes from people. That discernment will protect you later, when influence expands and expectations multiply. This is also where your relationship with God changes tone. Less striving, less bargaining, more listening. Prayer becomes less about asking for movement and more about asking for alignment. You stop saying, "Bless what I'm doing," and start asking, "What are you doing that I can join?" And here, God does not command, He invites. As Jesus Himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 11, verse 29, "Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls." Notice the language, gentle. Learn, rest. Authority rooted in gentleness is not weak, it is unshakable. It does not dominate, it stabilizes, it does not rush, it endures. Think of this message like a path marked by lanterns at night. No one is forcing you forward. The light simply reveals where you could step next. Each step is voluntary. Each pause is respected. That is how God trains leaders, by honoring their agency, not overriding it. And if this path feels familiar, imagine this message as a quiet fire you chose to sit beside tonight. To like is to place another log on that fire, so the warmth stays a little longer. To share is to carry an ember in your hand and light the way for someone still walking in the dark. To subscribe is not a contract, it is choosing to walk the same trail again tomorrow, trusting the light will still be there when you return. Nothing here is demanded, everything is offered. You are learning that authority is not proven by how many people follow you, but by how faithfully you follow truth when no one is watching. The season you are in is not small, it is precise. Every choice is shaping the kind of leader you will become. The path ahead may narrow, but it will also clarify. And clarity, once tasted, becomes more valuable than comfort. You are not falling behind. You are being aligned. There comes a moment when increased spiritual authority is no longer theoretical. It becomes confrontational. Not loud, not dramatic, but internal. You begin to sense resistance that does not come from people, but from patterns. Old temptations resurface. Familiar doubts knock again. Cycles you thought were broken try to reintroduce themselves quietly. This is not regression. This is recognition. When authority rises, opposition adjusts. What you are facing now is not new, it is repackaged. The same distractions, but subtler. The same fears, but more reasonable sounding. The same compromises, but dressed as just this once. This is how darkness responds when it knows you are no longer naive. The battle moves from obvious attacks to internal negotiations. In everyday life, this looks ordinary. You are tired after work, and discipline feels optional. You tell yourself rest, but rest slowly becomes avoidance. In finances, you feel pressure to bend values temporarily because others seem to get ahead faster. In relationships, you consider returning to conversations God already freed you from, simply because familiarity feels safer than growth. This is where discernment matters most. Spiritual authority is not tested when things are hard, it is tested when compromise feels convenient. The enemy does not always try to stop you. Sometimes, he tries to slow you, to keep you almost aligned, almost obedient, almost free, but almost never carries authority. Here is a concrete situation you may recognize. You receive an opportunity, promotion, partnership, access. On the surface, it looks like an answer to prayer, but something in your spirit hesitates. The pace is rushed. The values are unclear. The pressure to decide quickly feels manipulative. You are told, this won't come again. That urgency is the test. Authority pauses, impulse rushes. Hope shows up here as courage. The courage to say no to what looks good but feels wrong. Courage to wait without guarantees. Courage to trust that obedience never leaves you empty-handed. Even if it leaves you temporarily misunderstood, ask yourself this directly. Are you willing to disappoint people to avoid disappointing God? When your authority increases, heaven expects you to govern yourself before governing outcomes. That means choosing long-term integrity over short-term relief. It means resisting the urge to prove anything. Authority does not explain itself. It demonstrates itself over time. This is also where your prayers change again. You stop asking God to remove resistance and start asking Him to sharpen your discernment. You pray differently. Teach me to recognize subtle compromise. Train my instincts. Guard my appetite. Because appetite reveals authority. What you crave determines what controls you. You see this in daily routines, what you consume mentally, what conversations you tolerate, what media you normalize. Authority grows when you curate your inputs with the same care you hope to steward influence later. There is a quiet confidence forming in you now. You are less reactive, less desperate, less impressed. You don't chase every opportunity. You weigh them. You don't respond to every challenge. You discern them. This calm is not passivity. It is maturity. The Apostle Paul wrote in his letter to the Corinthians, chapter 16, verse 13, "Be watchful. Stand firm in the faith. Act like men. Be strong." Watchful, not paranoid aware. Strength in Scripture is not aggression. It is steadiness. Standing firm does not mean never moving. It means never drifting. This verse speaks directly to your current season. You are being trained to stand without applause, to resist without drama, to remain grounded while pressure tries to rush you into reaction. That steadiness will soon become visible authority. Here is the hopeful picture you need to see. Imagine yourself 6 months from now looking back at this season. You realize the temptations you resisted became the foundations you stand on. The delays you honored became the credibility others trust. The no's you spoke quietly became the yeses heaven backed loudly. Nothing was wasted. Before we move forward, I want you to mark this moment not for me but for yourself. In the comments, write the number 818. This number represents discernment over impulse, a reminder that you chose awareness instead of reaction. By typing it, you are not performing for anyone. You are anchoring a decision internally to stay watchful, steady, and aligned. Authority is no longer approaching you. It is already resting on you. What happens next depends on how you steward it. As your spiritual authority increases, something subtle but profound begins to happen. The noise inside you quiets. Not because life becomes easier, but because your center becomes steadier. You are no longer reacting to everything that moves. You are no longer pulled by every opinion, every headline, every emotional shift around you. Authority stabilizes the inner world before it ever changes the outer one. This is the season where obedience becomes instinct rather than effort. You do not need constant confirmation anymore. You recognize truth faster. You sense when something is off before evidence appears. This is not imagination. It is discernment matured through surrender. In daily life, this looks practical. At work, you are less anxious about recognition. You focus on excellence, not applause. You notice that your calm influences the room more than your words ever did. In finances, you become less reactive to fear-based decisions. Market swings, unexpected expenses, delayed returns, none of these shake you the way they once did. You have learned that provision flows through alignment, not panic. In family dynamics, you respond instead of react. Old triggers lose their grip. Conversations that once escalated now soften because you refuse to carry offense. This does not mean you tolerate harm. It means you choose clarity over chaos. Authority does not need to win arguments, it establishes boundaries. Here is a situation that may feel familiar. Someone tests you, not openly, but subtly. They push a limit, question your consistency, hint that you have changed. Old you might have defended yourself, explained, or corrected them. Now, you simply remain steady. You do not chase their approval. You do not absorb their doubt. Your stability answers for you. This is one of the clearest signs of increased authority. You no longer need to prove who you are. Hope in this season looks like rootedness, like a tree that no longer sways wildly with every wind. Storms still come, but your roots go deeper than the surface. You have learned how to draw strength from unseen sources. This depth was not built in comfort. It was formed through waiting, restraint, disappointment, and quiet obedience. Every time you chose alignment over impulse, a root grew deeper. Every time you stayed when it would have been easier to leave, strength accumulated. Let me ask you something directly. Can you feel how much steadier you are now compared to before? Authority also sharpens your sense of responsibility. You begin to realize that your reactions affect more than just you. Your tone influences atmospheres. Your decisions ripple outward. This awareness does not burden you, it grounds you. You become careful not because you are afraid, but because you are entrusted. This is where leadership becomes internal before it ever becomes visible. There is also a refining happening in your desires. You want less noise, less drama, less excess. Not because you are withdrawing from life, but because you value clarity. You begin choosing environments that nourish rather than drain you. You choose conversations that build rather than impress. You choose rest that restores rather than distracts. And in this quieter rhythm, God speaks more clearly. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah, chapter 12, verse 5. If you have raced with men on foot and they have wearied you, how will you compete with horses? This question is not condemnation, it is preparation. God is strengthening your endurance because greater responsibility is ahead. You are being trained to carry speed without losing balance, influence without losing humility, momentum without losing obedience. Right now, your life may look ordinary on the outside. Same routines, same responsibilities, and same environment. But inwardly something is different. You are no longer running at the pace of comparison. You are moving at the pace of calling. This is a crucial transition. Many people receive authority but lose themselves in it. You are being taught how to remain yourself while carrying more, how to stay human while being entrusted with influence, how to lead without losing compassion. The future will demand clarity, courage, and consistency. And what you are building now quietly, invisibly, is the capacity to stand when others sway. Nothing about this season is wasted. Nothing about this slow strengthening is accidental. You are not being delayed, you are being fortified. When the moment comes for greater movement, you will not rush. You will move with precision. And when pressure increases, you will not collapse. You will remain steady because steadiness has become who you are. You are no longer becoming, you are arriving. Not with noise, not with spectacle, but with weight. The kind of weight that steadies a room when you enter, the kind that does not announce itself yet cannot be ignored. This is what happens when spiritual authority matures, it crowns quietly. You once believed the goal was visibility. Now you understand the goal was stewardship. You once prayed for doors to open. Now you pray for wisdom to know which doors must remain closed. The shift is complete. You are not chasing purpose anymore, you are carrying it. Legacy does not begin with applause. It begins with consistency, with small decisions repeated when no one is watching, with integrity practiced in private long before it is trusted in public. You are living in that truth now. In everyday life, this authority expresses itself calmly. At work, people start to pause when you speak, not because you dominate conversations, but because clarity follows your words. You bring order into confusion without trying. Problems soften around you. Not all are solved, but they stop escalating. That is authority. In finances, you are no longer seduced by speed. You understand timing. You build slowly, give wisely, and refuse shortcuts that would cost peace. Money no longer dictates your emotions. It has lost its voice of urgency over you. In family and relationships, you become an anchor. Others may still fluctuate, react, or spiral, but you remain present without absorbing chaos. You listen deeply without carrying burdens that are not yours. You speak gently without surrendering truth. Your presence alone creates safety. Here is a moment that reveals how far you have come. Someone underestimates you. They speak to you as if you are still in an old season. Old you would have corrected them, defended yourself, or proven something. Now you don't. You let time answer. That restraint is not silence, it is confidence. Hope at this stage expands beyond survival. You begin to think about impact beyond yourself. What atmosphere follows you after you leave a room? What habits will others inherit simply by watching how you live? Authority always asks this question eventually. Let me ask you directly. One last time, are you willing to carry authority with humility, even when pride would feel justified? Because crowns are heavy, and only those strengthened by obedience can wear them without bending their necks to ego. Heaven does not crown the loudest, it crowns the faithful. Every season you endured trained you for this hour. The loneliness refined your dependence. The restraint purified your motives. The waiting strengthened your endurance. Nothing was wasted. Nothing delayed you unnecessarily. You were being shaped to rule without corruption. The ancient words recorded in the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 17. Still echo today: if we are children, then we are heirs, heirs of God and co-heirs with Christ. If indeed we share in his sufferings in order that we may also share in his glory. Glory is not a spotlight, it is responsibility. You are not crowned despite what you endured. You are crowned because what you endured did not break you. Now picture this message not as a demand, but as a torch placed gently into your hands. You are free to set it down, or you can carry it forward. To like is to shield the flame from the wind, choosing not to let this truth go cold. To share is to lift the torch higher, so someone behind you realizes the path is real. To subscribe is not obligation, it is choosing to return to the fire again. Trusting it will still be burning when the road grows dark. And if these words traced your own story, leaving a comment is not noise, it is witness. A quiet stone placed on the road that says, I was here. I received this. I chose alignment. Nothing here is demanded. Everything is invitation. Carry your authority gently. Walk forward steadily. And remember, crowns are not for display when they are for service. You will recognize this season later by its quiet strength. The days when no one applauded, yet you stood firm, will become the foundation others lean on when their own certainty begins to shake. Walk on without rushing. What has been entrusted to you will unfold naturally, like dawn breaking without effort, revealing that authority carried with humility always arrives exactly when it is needed. This is where the words release you back into your life, not with pressure, but with permission. You do not need to agree with everything you heard. You do not need to understand it all right now. Truth has its own way of staying behind. Even after the sound fades, what is meant for you will remain. What is not will fall away without effort. If something in this message helped steady you, imagine it like water you were given on a long walk. You are free to drink it quietly and continue on your way. And if, along the road ahead, you meet someone who looks weary in the same places you once were, you may choose to share what refreshed you, not as a lesson, not as a correction, just as a kindness passed hand to hand. But if this message did not fully resonate, that is also honored. You are not required to carry everything you encounter. You can keep only the sentence that softened you, the image that lingered, the reminder that brought you a little more clarity, a little more peace. Sometimes one small truth is enough to sustain an entire season. An open ending is not unfinished, it is spacious. It leaves room for your own reflection, your own timing, your own discernment. You get to decide what this moment becomes: a turning point, a quiet confirmation, or simply a pause that allowed you to breathe more deeply than before. Nothing needs to be announced. Nothing needs to be proven. Growth often happens unseen, like roots strengthening underground long before anything breaks the surface. So take what serves you. Release what does not. Walk forward without rushing. And trust that whatever was awakened in you will find its proper place, in its proper time. Some journeys do not end with a conclusion, they end with clarity. And that is enough.